to the candidates and to everybody who came here on Good Friday to participate in this. Thank you very much. We also wanted to let you know that this is not the Republican forum. We've invited all the candidates, and these four, who happen to all be Republicans, are the ones that accepted our invitation. So thank you very much. If you can give our candidates a warm round of applause. Thank you. Okay, the format for tonight is going to be thus, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay. We're not amplifying sound. Let me know if you can't hear me, but what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give each candidate 2 minutes to make an opening statement. Then, after opening statements, we will move on to questions. These questions were submitted by our readers. I have glanced at them, but I haven't studied them in, closely. So we're just going to do our best to make sure that everybody has a fair opportunity to answer a question. So the format will be, I will start with Josh here. We're going to go by first names tonight, and I'm going to pose the question. Each candidate will have the opportunity to answer the question. For the second question, we'll start with Clay and move down and back around to Josh, and then to Lisa, then to Darlene. So everybody will have a minute to answer each question that is posed. If one of the candidates directly references or talks about one of their opponents, we will give that opponent 30 seconds to respond to that. And then we will finish with 2 minutes for closing remarks, and we'll start with you, Darlene, kind of moving back up this direction. That'll be our format tonight. Sound fair? Everybody good? Okay, with that, I will turn the time over first to Josh for your opening statement.
Thank you very much. And as you said, first I'd like to recognize Good Friday and everyone who did come out, everyone who will be watching at home and watching later on the recording. Have a Good Friday and a blessed Easter. So my name is Josh Bashline. I'm a Clarion Township resident. I actually live walking distance right here from the Haskell House. I am a 12-year veteran of the U.S. Army, and the question I get the most is, why do you want to run for state representative? And I said, technically, I've kind of always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to help people, and I've always wanted to do this job. I feel like it is the closest governmental position that gets you closest to the people. You can engage with them and listen to their ideas and issues, and then fight for them and put that into work in Harrisburg. I took a lot of time over the years working with candidates and in the government, most recently in the House. Spent half my time down in Harrisburg, absorbing the knowledge of a lot of our elected officials, candidates, and other people who just want to help their districts and the state as a whole. So that's the main reason why I want to run, to represent you, help you, and just make it a better place. It kind of sounds cliche, but that's my main goal. Make it a better place. Thank you.
My name's Clay Kennemuth. I grew up in Shannondale, which is not walking distance from here. I am the Deputy Chief of Hawthorne Fire Department. I'm a paramedic supervisor here in Clarion. I'm a Republican who decided to run because I feel that our community needs a strong community representation. I've lived here my whole life. I share the values of the people that live in this district. I know the hard times and the hardships that people have felt. I have the unique opportunity to walk into people's houses at 1 a.m. on their worst day. The amount of times where I've connected with the community on a one-on-one basis is just an insurmountable feeling of sometimes sadness, but also of joy, because I get to help my community. I'm running for state representative because I want to continue serving my community. This district is in hard times economically. We've been excellently represented, and I take nothing away from Donna Oberlander and nothing away from the candidates up here. Teddy Roosevelt said that the credit goes to the man in the arena, and so I throw my hat in to help our fire departments and our ambulance services, to help promote natural gas, coal, oil, small businesses, and stand up for what our district cares about. So with that, I thank EYT Media Group and echo Josh's call for everybody to have a blessed Easter. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Lisa Carley, and I grew up in Woodnoon, which is the northern part of Armstrong County of the district. Currently live in New Bethlehem, and I have 2 children, 23 and 25. I grew up in a coal mining family, so coal and our natural resources are very important to me. Happy to say I've got the United Mine Workers endorsement. I very much, like all of us in this room, not just the 4 of us, we all want to do what's best for our communities. Not only do I serve on various boards, but I know many of you do as well. And I've always just have been a serving person, from starting a nonprofit and then sitting on other various boards from Borough Council, Agency on Aging. All those are very important to me, and I just want to continue serving our district and our people. We live in a very good district with good people. I also want to wish everyone a happy Easter, because I know it took a commitment to come out here tonight. Some of us made those choices and had to make a decision between Easter services and this evening, so I really do appreciate those that showed up this evening. And many thanks to EYT and the media group.
Thank you.
I want to thank Explore Clarion for hosting this forum. I also want to thank everyone here tonight for attending. My name is Darlene Smail. I am a proud Marine Corps veteran, a former Pennsylvania State Trooper, and a follower of Christ. After starting a family, I decided to become a full-time, stay-at-home mother and focus my attention on my family. I have been married for 31 years, and my children are now adults with families of their own. So I guess that means I'm retired. A friend once told me that he was busier since he was retired than when he worked full-time. At the time, I thought, yeah, right. I understand now. Since I've been retired, I have taken on many volunteer positions. I have been a certified Penn State Master Gardener. I belong to a local bee club. I am a licensed ham radio operator and a member of the Fort Armstrong Wireless Association. I am the commander of the Worthington American Legion, a position I have held for 4 years so far. I have also been the Armstrong County American Legion commander and District 27 treasurer. In 2022, I was elected to the PAGOP State Committee in a landslide, beating an 8-year incumbent. I currently serve as the chair of the Armstrong County Republican Committee, although I have stepped back from an active role due to my running for office. I admit I've only been active in politics since 2021. Before that, I guess you could say that I was an armchair quarterback. 2 things happened that caused me to decide to get off the couch: the COVID-19 pandemic and the 2020 election debacle. Since starting down this path, the common question I am asked is, why? Why do you want to do this? It's simple. I don't want to look back 10 years from now and wish I would have done something then.
Thank you very much. Glad to get to know each of you a little bit better. The first question that we have tonight, where did I just put it? Oh, here we are. We're going to start with you, Josh, and then we'll come down the table. Each of you has a minute to respond. The question is, if you're elected, what committees would you most like to be assigned to, and why? Which committees would you like to serve on?
So I know there's a lot of different choices of committees. Being a veteran, I'd like to serve on Veterans and Emergency Preparedness, and Tourism and Recreation also. We have a camp up in Cook's Forest. We enjoy the rivers and the trails and a lot of other things that bring people here and give them something to do in our communities. Makes it a great place to live. But when it comes to Veterans and Emergency Services and preparedness, I have firsthand knowledge with the Pennsylvania Guard and the different things they do and issues that come, across the state with that. There's a lot of other committees that I'd be interested in as well, and would be happy to, from leadership to be assigned to any of them. But those would be the two that I believe have the most experience and would have the most interest in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kennemuth. Clay.
Either way, it's fine. So I'm going to stick to kind of the top two that I'd like to be interested in, just for time's sake. But Health and Human Services is a committee that I'd be very interested in, because I have been a member of the healthcare community since I was 17, working on the ambulance, working in the emergency department and in the ICU as a nurse. And I know that we have a lot of problems with healthcare in Pennsylvania that I would like to take by the reins and attack. The second would also be the Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness. Veteran healthcare is another tragedy nationwide, but something that we can use that committee to help a little bit. Also emergency preparedness, because I am a volunteer fire. I'm the deputy chief of Hawthorne Fire Department. I know that our fire departments are struggling financially and they need support from the state government, and especially our 911 centers and other services. So those are the two committees that I would be most interested in serving on. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa, same question.
Likewise, Health and Human Services. I currently am sit on the Agency on Aging board, and having elderly in-laws, it's a struggle for all of us to find the elder care that we need, and going through their budget at aging to be able to make sure that that line item's appropriate. It's very costly if you have to put your family into a nursing home, and ways to alleviate some of that and what we can do for the elderly. And then the second would be tourism. We live in a great area. Clarion County and our Armstrong district has many options for tourism, from our bed and breakfast to our river, and those are two areas that are interest for me.
Thank you very much. Perfect timing. Just so everybody knows, Grace is up here at the front. I didn't announce that. She's keeping time for us. Thank you. Darlene.
Well, I have to echo the Veterans Affairs, because being a veteran myself, it's very important to me. But not only for that reason, with my work with the American Legion, I am really humbled when I talk to veterans that have been in combat. And so that is something that I hold dear to my heart, because I did not experience that, and what they went through was just horrific, and you can't imagine it. And so that would be something very important to me, to make sure that our veterans are taken care of, because they put their life on the line for us. So the other committee that I would be interested in is something that had to do with our natural resources. I was a certified master gardener. I have a lot of interest in the flora and fauna, especially the native. That was
We're
quick.
out of time. Thank you. That was a good answers from everybody. Thank you very much. Let's go to something maybe is a little more hot button. We're going to start with you, Clay. In Pennsylvania, abortion is banned at 24 weeks and later. Would you support legislation that reduces that number as far as the weeks? That's the question as it is posed, but would you support any legislation that changes Pennsylvania law, I guess, more generally speaking?
Okay. So I would support any Pennsylvania law that came to the House that would ban abortion as a means of birth control. However, there are three exceptions that I will not give up on, and the three exceptions are the life of the mother being in danger in the instance of rape and incest, because I feel that that enslaves a woman to carry a child that a man forced upon her, and that is a terrible tragedy. And the third being in the case of fetal demise or fetal malformation that will result in a child dying in the womb, or a child dying immediately after birth with no chance of, saving that child. I stand for those three because I've worked in healthcare. I've held the hands of women across more than just our district who've been experiencing these problems. I'm not saying that those are the three scenarios where abortion should be required. I'm saying that we should not be limiting those medical issues, but abortion as a social issue tears apart the fabric of our society.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Lisa?
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, the question as submitted to us is, in Pennsylvania, abortion is banned at 24 weeks and later. Would you support legislation that reduces that number? And more generally, would you support any other legislation that changes that law?
So I'm pro-life. I firmly believe life begins at conception until natural death. And I am all for any legislation that reduces that 24 weeks or less, but I still firmly believe that, life is at conception, and I am just pro-life.
Thank you very much. Darlene?
I will definitely support legislation that makes it more difficult for abortions. I am pro-life, but not only pro-life, I'm pro-family. The family is a very important part of my life, and it is something that I feel very strongly about. I would consider the instances of rape, incest, and life of the mother. That would be something that I would consider the possibility, but I make no decision on that right now. But I would definitely be in favor of shortening or changing the legislation to make stricter rules.
Thank you. Josh?
I would also be in favor of shortening it, such thing as like a heartbeat bill. I think we focus most of this issue, and it's very divisive on that small percentage. We say rape, incest, life of the mother, and in a lot of those instances as well, it's not even considered an abortion if you look at the laws. I am 100% pro-life. I have the highest rating from the Pro-Life Federation in Pennsylvania, and in my personal belief, life does begin at conception, and if you abort a child, you are getting rid of a life. I would do everything I can with the resources for mothers and families, to ease that burden and, protect people from those instances. But I am 100% pro-life.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after these messages.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665 matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable, you can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Hey Julie, nice deck! Did you get that at Tio Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Tio Nesta Builder Supply, and yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at Tio Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Tio Nesta, and yes, Tio Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow! I'm heading over to Tio Nesta. I know. Tio Nesta Builders.
Tio Nesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center, family owned and operated since 1958, with locations in Tio Nesta and Shippenville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
Welcome back to the Haskell House for a political forum on District 63, representatives or candidates for the state legislature. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here. Thank you for joining us on Good Friday. We know that's not ideal, but we're glad that we're all together. The next question is for Lisa. Lisa, the question is submitted is, if you're elected, what will you do to help support Penn West Clarion's growth amidst enrollment challenges?
So the growth currently, it has been on a decline. However, I think with athletics, and it's not all about the athletics, however, being able to help show, we lose a lot of students to our other universities and our state universities that could be coming here. A lot of it's with facilities, things like that. We also, the public needs to know that our university is not going anywhere. So to be sure that when they're out recruiting, that families know and the students know that our university's here. I think over the last couple years, especially in the last 6-9 months, people are saying it's closing, it's not closing. We have good faculty here.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Darlene, what's your answer to the same question? If elected, what will you do to help support Penn West Clarion's growth amidst enrollment challenges?
Well, the concern that I have is the tax dollars going to a higher education. That's a concern, although it is an important location or an important school in the area. I'm not really sure. I don't really have an answer to that.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much. Josh, same question.
I think the number one thing that people need to ask when they go into school, and when I first went to college and growing up, I was asked, where do you want to go to school, not what do you want to do? It's something I worked in the House this year with a few different of our state universities, is if you can craft the degrees for what the jobs are needed in your area, work hand in hand with the local businesses. You know, we might need engineers, mathematicians, teachers in this field. Then you can constantly update that and compete with the other universities, because that's where the jobs in the area are what are coming out of that school. And I would continue to do that at Penn West Clarion.
Thank you very much. Clay, same question.
My concern is more of an economic concern. Living here my whole life, I know that Clarion University, or now Penn West Clarion, and being an alum there myself, is essential for our economic sustainability in this district. Moreover, the Penn West merger has caused serious heartache to Clarion University. We had declining numbers as it were. This merger has created an even worse off situation. I would actually be further ahead as whatever authority or influence I may have as a state representative into removing this university from the Penn West program and encouraging another more successful university, especially a more private or less state-funded university, to step in, because I feel that that's the key to economic growth and student number growth. Beating the dead horse isn't going to fix anything.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Darlene, right?
Yes.
Will you support a statewide sales tax to fund public schools instead of the current real estate tax?
Yes, I will. That is something I have thought hard about, and it is one of the most important things that is brought up at the door when I have been speaking to people. That concerns a lot of people, especially seniors who are on a fixed income. And that would be one way to enable others to what's considered pay their share. If we would at least freeze what the seniors are getting, but yes, I would agree with that.
Thank you very much. Josh, will you support a statewide sales tax to fund public schools instead of the current real estate tax?
So I'd have to work with the budget team in Harrisburg and see the exact numbers before, I just pledge to support something. But I have talked to a lot of people about it, with the retail tax and property taxes, and people saying, I haven't had kids in school in, 30, 40 years. So I'd definitely look into it and have an open ear to it, but I would want to see, the numbers, where it would come from, how it would fit into the budget, because, I think most importantly, you do need to have a balanced budget, and when you're using taxpayer money, not government money, you have to be responsible with it. So I would, want to work hand in hand with the budget team on doing that. Definitely would consider it, yes.
Thank you. Clay?
So I would not pledge support or deference to any bill that I wasn't able to read the entirety of. I think that too much nonsense gets nipped and tucked into something like that. I do think that the property tax funding of schools right now is just tragic for our local economies. A sales tax would spread it out a little more evenly and a little more fairly across the Commonwealth. But we also have to identify the actual problem with our education systems. Currently, kids are trapped in schools that, quite frankly, in this district, some are good and some are not good. And it's because of the way they're run. Their financial problems, to some degree, are because of the way they're run. And to me, education is a little bit bigger problem than funding it with a property tax versus a sales tax. But kind of to circle back to the initial question, I would support moving away from property taxes as a general statement as far as taxation goes, and moving more towards a sales tax, retail tax, or hotel tax base. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just want to do a sound check. Can everybody hear what's going on up here? We're okay? Good.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. That gentleman said something. Do I have the opportunity to respond to that? He said it's either or. I'm saying I would want to do one or the other.
Oh, okay.
I am definitely not in favor of doing both. I would want to do one or the other. Thank you. Sorry
Thank you. Lisa, same question.
Looking at a budget would have to be important. It's a conversation I've had with many constituents when I'm knocking on doors, is about the sales tax and school property. I want to say I'm in favor of this statewide sales tax. Not only is that all of us contributing, but now everyone that comes into our state is contributing to that and helping alleviate that tax burden on our constituents, on our elderly as well. So I would probably be more in favor of it for one of those purposes. You know, we have major corridors with our highways, and we could essentially be tapping into those outside of our area.
All right. Thank you all for answers to that question. Let's see, we're back around to you, Josh. Keep me honest here. That's right. Okay. The question as posed is, how would you represent constituents with opposing views to your own?
Well, I think the first thing is access. You know, doesn't matter and what party, what belief, anything. There's a lot of different constituent services and ways to help people and the constituents navigate, you know, the government that is completely irrelevant to any kind of politics. So politics at the door, you know, and someone would be able to call me or come in the office and say, I disagree with you, and I would have an open ear. Just because they disagree, I wouldn't ban them or say, oh, you know, you don't have my time. That goes with anyone, you know, who wouldn't vote for me in the election as well. You know, that would be in the past. So mostly transparency, open access to myself and the office. And when it comes to any kind of legislation, bills, funding, you know, that's all neutral, and you represent all people in your district, not just a political party.
Thank you, sir. Clay, same question.
So I actually welcome opposing viewpoints whenever I'm on the trail. And politics is politics, campaigning is campaigning, but representation is something in and of itself that's completely different. And I would aim to represent our entire district. I don't mind listening to opinions that are opposite mine. I don't mind listening to counterpoints. And I don't mind taking bits and pieces of both sides of an argument and creating one unified middle argument that actually represents the majority of the people in our district. So I echo the call for open access, continued open access to our state representative, working with constituents. I've actually promised out on the campaign trail, and my committee members have promised town halls, especially for hot button issues. However, I will say that in hot button issues, sometimes the loud outshout the many, and so I will take everything with a grain of salt.
Thank you very much. Lisa, the question is, how would you represent constituents with opposing views to your own?
Open door policy at an office, as well as the access to reach out to me privately, and being able to have that open communication and willing to listen to them as well, because we are elected to serve our whole district, all the people in it.
Thank you. Darlene.
Okay. I want to echo quite a few of the things that's already been said. Open door and open mind. This question actually came up when I was speaking with somebody, and the opposing viewpoints would not be something that is necessarily a bad thing. I try to listen and consider everybody's viewpoint and seriously take a long look at it. But it was pointed out that I would be elected, or anybody else would be elected to that position based on the viewpoints that we have put forth. And so it was said to me that this person advised that I vote my conscience because that's why you were elected. But again, take into consideration the other viewpoints in that it's not a monochromatic district. There are many different viewpoints.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Okay, coming to you, Clay. The question that was submitted has, again, to do with schools. One of the biggest financial problems facing school district in the 63rd district is growing cyber school cost. When a student enrolls in cyber school, the public school district foots the bill. What do you propose as a solution to cyber school funding not taking away from public school students?
So, to circle back to our education problem, I'm glad I have a whole other minute to talk about this. Our education system is broken. How it's funded is broken, how it's managed broken. We all know it's broken. And I have often thought that if every lawmaker in Harrisburg sat down and put all the special interests aside and put all the nonsense aside and talked about this issue exclusively and worked at it exclusively, it would take 10 years to recover some sort of workable solution. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. In that 10 years, there will be two groups of students who go entirely from 9th grade to 12th grade. Why should those students be stuck in a failed education system while we work in Harrisburg, hopefully myself included, to fight to get this issue fixed? So I actually support school choice for cyber school and private schools because I think that they provide, in some situations, a better education for students. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa.
So I want to start, I believe we have good schools in our district. I also, with that being said, not every public school system's the right fit for a child, whether that's has to, cyber school or online is a better fit, or a private school. I'm for school choice. My late husband and I, we elected to do the Catholic school here in town for primary because we wanted religion every day at an early age for the kids. Likewise, looking at a budget and not knowing those numbers, working with that, a solution to try to have those choices also provide through a state budget to, one, help alleviate the school districts so they're not losing their funding as well, and that the quality can remain there.
Thank you very much. Darlene.
Okay, I want to point out that school districts are governed by school boards. And so that is where this needs to be addressed first and foremost. There is support at the state level. However, something that needs addressed is why are the parents taking their children out of the schools? That should be the foremost thing that's addressed, because if the schools were performing well enough or there were no issues for reasons that the parents would not be taking them out, then you wouldn't have the money leaving the school. I homeschooled my kids for 2 years, so I am very much in favor of school choice. It should not be a financial burden on parents if they want to take their kids out of school and have them go somewhere else.
Thank you very much. Josh, same question.
I am for school choice. Depending on where you live shouldn't determine what kind of education you get or the opportunities. This might not be as big of an issue in the parts we live. Some people even say, I talk about like inner city schools and the funding there. I also don't think we should just keep throwing money at the problem. You can't give administrations, hundreds or millions of more dollars. It needs to be focused on the children. And I also think that the main person here, not myself if I was a representative or the people in Harrisburg, should be the parents and the school boards. The government, is not your child's parent. You are. So I think the decision should utmost be put towards them. That being said, if you do increase just in general the wealth of your community and you can bring more money in locally, you can increase this money you have for schools.
Thank you all. Thank you for those answers. We're going to take another commercial break. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Stick with us.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kerle's kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kerle's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
Ready to boost your team spirit? Look no further than ShopTeamwear.com, your one-stop destination for all your school and team apparel needs. We've got you covered whether you're a die-hard fan searching for the latest gear or aiming to fundraise for your team. And here's the best part, you're in control. Choose the products and prices that work for you. Discover the ultimate apparel shopping and fundraising experience at ShopTeamwear.com. It's time to gear up, fundraise with ease, and make a statement together. Boost your team spirit, empower your community. ShopTeamwear.com, where passion meets fashion.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
Oh, geez.
How long is it?
They said about an hour.
Okay.
So we're looking at 2 more rounds of questions probably.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us here at the Haskell House for the Political Forum, brought to you by Explore Clarion for the District 63 state legislature candidates. We're grateful that you've joined us. We're grateful for the audience coming here and those who are tuning in online to join us on Good Friday. Thank you all for being here. We're going to continue on with our questions. We're going to start with Lisa Carley. This question asks, as we roll into year 16 of no broadband internet access for some parts of Clarion County, what are you going to do differently to ensure that every resident of your district has the opportunity to purchase hardwired broadband access?
So working hopefully with our federal government as well to bring that funding into the district, and working with our economic development in Armstrong and Clarion County. They're doing a great job right now of getting that rolling, and just to continue to work with them so that we can do that. We saw during COVID how poor those areas are, that so many areas without coverage. We had students going to other homes to have access to do their schooling online. So it was a big wake-up call for rural Pennsylvania. So not only our area, but all of Pennsylvania is something that we need to work on so that we all have that service.
Thank you. Darlene, your thoughts?
Okay. Having broadband is something that is, as Lisa said, something that's important to every person. And it's a multi-pronged approach needs to be used. The county commissioners with the carriers, the stakeholders need to cooperate and work on a more aggressive timeline to have it worked on. need to build a partnership, but we also need to have a district-wide survey so that we can determine actually where the dark spots are.
Thank you very much. Josh.
Oh, we definitely need to work with local, state, and federal government when it comes to money, grants, and also make sure the companies that receive those that are going to be building, these almost hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of miles of broadband and the infrastructure can also maintain it and that it's high quality. Because we know that with telemedicine now, which I know kids don't like it as much, but they can now still go to school from their computer at home, so no more snow days. And working hand in hand with the workforce development in both counties to make sure that that goes through. I think even more money needs to be provided. It needs to be done quickly, securely, and reliable. How many times have we gone around and said, don't have service, or internet's bad here? You can't be left behind in the rural counties with places like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia that have 5G. They'll probably have 6G before we get our broadband. So we need someone to really step up and be a voice of that. Make sure that money and the companies and everything go to the right places here.
Thank you. Clay.
So I'm actually currently in an online master's program for my nurse practitioner degree, and I live in an area that is very, very poorly serviced with internet. And it is through no fault of the internet provider. The infrastructure is not there. The investments are being made, and I agree that federal, state, and local governments need to continue to work at this problem. This is one of the few areas where I agree that we need to actually invest more tax money into infrastructure repair and generation, because I have to go other places for school sometimes right now if the wind's blowing too hard. I know that we're talking about broadband, hardwired internet, but I would also like to see exploration on satellite internet availability, especially low latency, high speed, because that could be cheaper for tax money than running miles and miles of infrastructure to get to one or two houses. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, our next question, I made it through everybody on that one, right? So the question is to Darlene. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. I'm so nervous about messing up that way. All right. The question as posed says, Pennsylvania House Bill 972, vetoed by former Governor Tom Wolf in 2022, proposed legislation that would have banned transgender girls and transgender women from participating in sports designated for females, women, or girls. Would you support this bill or similar legislation if proposed?
So the bill banned?
It says it banned transgender girls and transgender women from participating in sports designated for females, women, or girls.
Okay. I do not support any type of cross sports. We should be having our young ladies competing against young ladies. And as much as that goes, they should be staying in their own dressing rooms and bathrooms. To have young people to me, I mutilated. I don't know what other word to use, because to me it's mutilating. If you want to do that to your body as an adult, that's one thing, but leave it away from the kids. So I am definitely not in favor of having that happen.
Thank you. Josh.
Yeah, we need to protect women's sports, and it's not just the actual sports, because we know, although we're all equal under the Constitution and God, that there are physical differences. And not to mention the injuries that could happen, but look at that opportunity for a scholarship, especially in college. And you look in Pennsylvania specifically where this has happened, from high school the whole way up to the Olympic level. A young girl could be the best athlete ever, and then now she loses out on that scholarship opportunity for an education at a great college because we allowed that. So I would vote yes on banning it, all of it.
Thank you. Clay?
I coached high school sports. I officiate high school sports. I don't make a statement on behalf of any organization or anybody that I coached for. I fully support in separating by biological gender sports, with the exception of young kids wrestling, because I'm going to tell you what, at age 6, I love watching a little girl get out there and beat up on a little boy. But there becomes a point in high school sports, especially managed by the Commonwealth, that we need to take action in law that forbids putting girls in a bad situation, or even men for that, fact. So yes, I would re-support that bill to send back to the governor.
Thank you. Lisa?
I also would support banning it as far as having transgender cross-compete. We've worked so hard to get women to where they are now in athletics. I was a Division II golfer. To know that a male could come in and take that spot away from myself or another young lady, it's just not fair. And then for the more physical sports, someone's going to get injured. Right now, wrestling is the fastest growing fastest growing sport in the U.S. right now for females. Pennsylvania finally sanctioned it, and when they start allowing men to compete with those women, someone's going to get hurt, and it's.
Thank you all. Appreciate those answers. I forgot where I am again. Back up here. Okay, thank you. Josh, do you support term limits? Why or why not?
Is it term limits in Congress, state government? Is there any clarification on what level?
It doesn't clarify.
So I guess overall then, I like term limits. If it doesn't clarify, I would have different answers at different levels, from school board up to president. But I think, there comes a time where, you should kind of step down. The issues change, and whether it comes from healthcare or the economy or anything, with generations as well, and the opportunities to bring new ideas in. There's also less chance for corruption. I think, when you look at over 20, 30 or more years in the government, there could be some problems with that. But to give a more laid out answer, I would need to know specifically, which office we're talking about.
Clay?
We have term limits. They're called elections. What we don't have is election integrity. So if voters are dissatisfied with their representatives, they will vote them out. As long as the voting process is fair and open, we currently have term limits. I've got no problem with a representative serving 30 years if you walk through their district and they're still happy with that representative's service. So to me, it's less of a question about term limits as far as setting them in stone, and especially to echo Josh's call for a little bit more specificity as to what level of government we're talking about. But as long as our elections are free, open, and their integrity can be challenged and proven, we, the people, provide term limits. That's why I encourage everybody to vote, especially young people. My generation is not politically involved, and we need to be, so that we can continue to protect our elections and can continue to vote good people into office.
Thank you. Lisa?
I also agree the question's a little vague on, I'm going to go on the limb and say, since it's a state forum, it was, proposed to us as a state legislature. I agree. I believe with Clay, we have some representatives that have been in there for a long time that are still doing great work. They're proposing bills and legislation that's not good just for their district, but for the Commonwealth. And, we do have the elections that can challenge those if their district's not happy.
Thank you. Darlene?
Well, I happen to agree with a lot of what Josh had to say. And the reason being that when a person gets into office, now this is talking state level or federal level, there is a 94 to 96% retention rate. So that makes it much more difficult to have somebody run against the person, even if they're doing poorly, because the issue, in addition to that, the issue that we have is with campaign finance. An incumbent person, an incumbent politician gets much more financial help on the campaign trail, and for a person that is just new, they're not going to get that help. And the chance, like I said, agreeing with Josh, the longer you're there, the higher the chance that you're going to be exposed for corruption.
Thank you very much for those answers. Everybody give them a warm round of applause. We'll be back right after these messages.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
Hey, Julie, nice deck. Did you get that at T.O. Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Nesta Builder Supply. And yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at T.O. Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Nesta. And yes, Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow, I'm heading over to T.O. Nesta. I know. Tionesta Builders.
Tionesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center, family owned and operated since 1958, with locations in Tionesta and Shippensville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
Are you ready to boost your team spirit? Look no further than shopteamwear.com, your one-stop destination for all your school and team apparel needs. We've got you covered whether you're a die-hard fan searching for the latest gear or aiming to fundraise for your team. And here's the best part, you're in control. Choose the products and prices that work for you. Discover the ultimate apparel shopping and fundraising experience at shopteamwear.com. It's time to gear up, fundraise with ease, and make a statement together. Boost your team spirit, empower your community. Shopteamwear.com, where passion meets fashion.
how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable. You can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
When I was a kid too, so. But yeah, I love the new PIAA
Welcome
female
back,
wrestling.
everybody. Welcome back to the Haskell House. Thank you for being here on this Good Friday for our political forum. It's been an enlightening night for me. I hope you've all enjoyed it. And thank you to the candidates for coming on Good Friday. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, Clay, the next question is to you. Would you support a bill legalizing recreational marijuana in Pennsylvania?
No, I would not, because in the emergency department and on the ambulance, I know the stigma and the gateway efforts of recreational marijuana. Medical marijuana I stand a little bit different on, but to stick with the recreational, as a fiscal conservative, I used to think that we should legalize it because that's more tax money coming into the state government. However, in a meeting with some representatives from one of the alcohol and drug commissions, they informed me, they provided me with the statistics that people are more likely to get their cards and less likely to use taxing dispensaries. They're more likely to continue to get it from Joe down the street. So I am very much against recreational marijuana use. I also stand against it because there's no clear-cut definition level of when somebody is driving or operating a vehicle at an intoxicated level. And so until we can come up with something like that, I'm also definitely against it.
Thank you very much. Lisa?
I do not agree with legalizing it as well. Clay took the word gateway out of my mouth. I also believe it's a gateway drug. And once again, going back to the 70s, 80s of, our no drug campaign, and it falls under a drug.
All right. Thank you very much. Darlene, your thoughts. Would you support a bill legalizing recreational marijuana in Pennsylvania?
No, I would not. My history with law enforcement has given me a lot of opportunities to interact with people that are driving under the influence. And this does not just include alcohol. It includes any other drugs, and marijuana does affect your reaction times. And that is a serious issue when driving a vehicle. Legalizing it just makes it easier. Additionally, my son recently told me that marijuana in my day is not the same as marijuana today. So it doesn't take as much, apparently, to do the job. And as far as legalizing marijuana for tax revenues, our government doesn't need more money. Our government needs to know how to manage its money better.
Thank you very much. Josh?
I would also be a no vote on that as well. To continue with the gateway, I have too many friends and family who that is how they started, and now they are no longer with us, moving on to harder drugs. And the same thing with the tax. People say, oh, we'll raise so much tax money. You won't, because as soon as you do that, people are still going to get it from their dealer at a cheaper rate. It's become a very lobbied subject. Studies on either side have politics injected into them. But definitely I'd be a no vote. Along with the law enforcement aspect as well, there is no standard for that like there is with alcohol. So thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. Clay, where am I?
Next question.
Oh, next, dang it, I'm so nervous.
Is he running too?
Do you need a drink?
All right, so Lisa, this question is for you. What would you do to help with fire and EMS?
That is a very hot topic within our own district. So part of it, before we even talk the financial part, is the volunteer part. So funding's an issue in its own. So budgetary wise, working with the budget to see what funding, additional funding we can provide there. But then there's also the bigger problem of retaining and bringing younger people into those fields of volunteerism. Last semester, in one of my classes, I did a research paper on this subject. There's a couple districts down in the south, Connellsville, and I believe Huntington was the other one, where through their career centers in their high school, they offer classes.
I'm sorry, we ran out of time. Thank you for your answer. Darlene?
I have to admit that I am not very up on this information, but actually, let me rephrase that. With my background in law enforcement, I ran into fire and EMS frequently. It never crossed my mind in all those years, it never crossed my mind on what type of circumstances or how they got their money or anything like that. So I'm kind of a little embarrassed about that. However, I have been to a number of fire departments, spent much time, many minutes talking to them about the situations that they face. I went to the New Bethlehem and saw the amount of money, but it's not only the money, that it also is the volunteers and the amount of training. They need to go through a lot of training.
Thank you. Josh?
I think the number one thing is some inaction. I mean, I've talked to many people in the district that have brought a lot of ideas to me, and I'm no expert on this subject, so I'm going to listen to the experts on this. You know, from combining areas, bringing more grant money, making training accessible and cheaper, including increasing reimbursements, and then getting the volunteer base up by first increasing the tax base and the amount of people that live here, because then you'll have more money and more volunteers. And the education. You know, I didn't even know, just circumstance, that I could go be a volunteer firefighter if I wanted in high school. I just, it didn't come about. So I think a combination of all those would really help out a lot and move us forward from just talking about it. Because no matter how much I enjoy going to the fish fries and the gun raffles and everything, you should have to, or focus on your training and not have to do that just for money.
Thank you very much. Clay?
1 minute is not enough time to talk about this topic, and I am also at the unfair disadvantage of working as a paramedic supervisor and being the deputy chief of a fire department. What I will say is that there are so many different problems with our services when it comes to funding. Insurance reimbursements are one. The state government has made great steps with Act 15 this year. We're still waiting, I believe, federal approval, but I'm not sure. That is a pre-inflationary increase, though. It still does not cover the deficits of EMS budgets. As a fireman, I love doing my gun raffle, and I love going to fish fries, and I love doing all of that. And most firemen do. I think any volunteer fireman would tell you that all they want is for it to just be a little bit easier. They don't want to have to raise millions of dollars every year to fund their budgets, and they just need a little bit more help, which is what I am running for, is to get involved in that and help save those organizations.
Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you. All right, Darlene, the last question of the night falls to you first. What is your plan to help strengthen infrastructure within District 63 and ensure that our roadways and bridges are safe for commuters while still remaining viable for commerce?
That is something that will take cooperation from every level of government, and it is something that I will have to look into. I don't know a whole lot about it.
Okay, fair enough. Josh?
Yeah. Well, my name. That's all right. They don't know who I am.
Can you restart this time? I'm sorry.
So I think, bringing as much money back as possible and it going to the right places. In my experience over the last year, we brought so much grant money that went into the townships and the boroughs, bringing money in to improve that kind of infrastructure and working with the businesses and all the government organizations such as PennDOT to really find where the money and resources are needed and doing something about it. Being firsthand, speaking up, saying, hey, we need this money here. Don't forget about us. So from doing that, I would just continue to do that and, keep strengthening it, keep the ball rolling, continue the improvement in our district here.
Thank you. Clay?
So the liquid fuels tax is something that helps townships maintain their roads, and our state roads also need help. I actually, in speaking with a couple township supervisors, came up with a pretty radical idea of regionalizing liquid fuel taxes so that liquid fuels are subsidized more fairly in the rural districts, because I know that they have a lot of bridges in Pittsburgh and they all need maintained, but we also have bridges that need maintained. We have roadways that need maintained because we do have factories. I mean, we Paint Township is the home building capital of Western Pennsylvania, and that's our infrastructure, that's our economics, and so we need that to be available. Additionally, one other thing is I would love to see the state take action to encourage railroad use again in our area. I know it's a lot and I know it's a long time gone, but I think that helps save our roads at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. Lisa?
So for District 63, we're a very rural area, and our communities are older communities. So the infrastructure's important. Just from my experience on the Water Authority in New Bethlehem, our water lines are over 100 years old. So working with DCED, working with our Clarion County Economic Development, along with the county and federal, being able to bring those funds, keep our funds and tax money here in our district to help rebuild those water systems that need updated, our roads, our bridges, it's costly to repair. New Bethlehem's in that situation now. We have a structure that, we're working on repairing to keep Smuckers running. So just keeping our tax dollars in our district.
Thank you very much. And that wraps up the question and answer segment tonight. We are going to go to a commercial break for a few minutes, and we will return with closing thoughts. Thank you very much for joining us from the Haskell House.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
Hey, Julie, nice deck. Did you get that at Tio Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Tio Nesta Builder Supply, and yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at Tio Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Tio Nesta, and yes, Tio Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow, I'm heading over to Tio Nesta. I know. Tionesta Builders.
Tionesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center, family owned and operated since 1958, with locations in Tionesta and Shippensville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kerle's kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kerle's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
All right, we're back at the Haskell House. Thank you all for joining us. I have enjoyed our time here. I've made many mistakes, and I think that just adds to the homespunnedness, I think, of the evening. Want to thank the Haskell House and exploreClarion.com for bringing us this event. We want to thank our 4 candidates for being here, and especially thank those of you who all came on Good Friday for this political forum. Thank you all. We now are going to allow each candidate to have a 2-minute closing remark. We're going to start with Darlene Smail at the end and work our way back towards me. Darlene.
Experience is necessary for this office, but government experience is not a requirement. I have over 40 years of life experience in a wide variety of endeavors, to include the United States Marine Corps, the Pennsylvania State Police, and multiple volunteer organizations. I have met and successfully addressed many challenges over the years. Some of those challenges were very difficult, but I prevailed, becoming stronger as a result. I improvised, I adapted, and I overcame. But first and foremost, I am honest and I have integrity. I have a very strong work ethic and a sincere desire to help our country. I am a strong Christian woman. I do not consider this to be a job. For me, it is a calling to do everything in my power to serve all of the citizens of District 63. I will bring honor back to government. I will bring transparency and accountability to Harrisburg. We don't need more politicians. We need more citizen representatives. I pledge to be just that. I have the support and endorsement of the Pennsylvania Freedom Caucus, who supports less government involvement in our lives and seeks to curb runaway government spending. I have also been endorsed by LifePAC due to my strong pro-life beliefs, and I have been recommended by Firearm Owners Against Crime because I am a staunch supporter of all portions of the Second Amendment. So far in my campaign, I have knocked on over 1,000 doors to speak directly with the people. I am the grassroots candidate. I love my country, and I am proud to be an American. This is how I choose to honor those patriots who have gone before me and paid the ultimate price to ensure that our freedoms are upheld. I hope that I have earned your vote tonight. A vote for me on April 23rd is a vote for the people's representative. My name is listed number 1 on the ballot. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight. Semper Fi, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Lisa.
I just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Thank you for moderating this evening. Many thanks to exploreClarion.com and EYT Media for hosting us this evening. Thank you to the candidates that are here as well. Once again, I've been born, raised here in the district, and I just want to continue to serve our people and continue the calling of serving as well.
Thank you very much. Clay.
We spoke a lot about a lot of political issues tonight, and that's fine because on January 3rd, I became a politician. Prior to that, I've been a paramedic, I've been a nurse, I've worked in the oil field. I quit college the first time because I knew better than anybody how to make my own money. and mom and dad had to kick me in the behind to get me to go back to nursing school. I've lived the life that this district lives. I've worked 2 jobs just to make my payments. I know what it's like to struggle to get by. My parents have instilled an incredible work ethic in me because I got to see their work ethic growing up. My favorite story to tell about my dad is when I was about 1 or 2, he had to sell his most prized possession, which was a .44 Magnum, to make rent one month. And I'm still looking for a long barreled .44 Magnum if anybody has one to give to him as a gift someday. But I grew up in this district, and I know that our elderly are at risk and underserved. I know that our emergency services are underserved and on the verge of collapse. I don't want the government to get involved in very much of our lives. One law passed is another freedom lost. For me, it's about keeping the lights on, the roads open, the fire department staffed, the ambulance staffed, and the police staffed. Our Pennsylvania National Guardsmen, I fly with a team out of Johnstown when we do SMERT missions. I serve on the Special Medical Response Team to help protect coal miners, to provide care underground. I care about what this community cares about, and a vote for me is a vote for somebody to go and fight for what matters to you most. No issue's too small for me. There's no job that I won't get involved in. I'm not a pass the buck type of person. For me, it's about working hard with a goal to get things done for you. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank our host and everyone who came out, everyone who's going to listen at home. I think the word politician has become a bad term because they get promised the world. A politician is not a savior. It's not someone who can solve all your problems and promise you every single thing that you want, because they can't do that. You need to be a realist. I'd like to change the term back to public servant. If elected, I want people to look at me and say, that's the guy I know that's working for me. I never have any doubt. I'll bring up my endorsements now. When it comes to our values, I mentioned previously, I have the highest rating from the Pennsylvania Pro-Life Federation. When it comes to our Second Amendment, I have an A+ rating from the NRA, a recommended from FOAC, they do not endorse in the primary, and recommended from Gun Owners of America as well. And then most recently, I just received a full endorsement from the nationwide NFIB, the National Federation of Independent Businesses, who are the largest advocacy group for our hometown businesses in the entire country. When it comes to my experience and what I've done, I started my, you could say, political or government career when I got back from my last deployment and I decided to move back home. The first thing I did was work for President Trump on his campaign, and we fought for the issues we believe in and those good policies that it seems like we had forever ago. After that, I continued to find role models from candidates to elected officials at the local, the entire federal level, and I've won a statewide campaign as well. So you don't need to guess if I'm going to fight or not. And then over this last year, working in the House, I did every single thing that a state rep could do. So you don't need to ask yourself, can he do the job? Because I've already done it. Next to voting on the House, I've sat on committees, went to Harrisburg without my member and did things there, and brought in over $10 million to the district I worked in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you again to our candidates. Thank you to those who are in the audience. From Haskell House and Explore Clarion, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and good night.